Hello and welcome back to another episode of Orange Juice, news and notes from around the world of insoles. I'm your co-host Owen, and today we have with us back from overseas, Marsha. So Marsha, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm still trying to adjust to this time zone, even though the difference was 7 hours. You didn't warn me about that, Owen. I forgot. I haven't traveled to Europe in a while, and woo! But this is a good time for me because right now it's like evening time, and I'm usually ready to go out and get me some good food. So I'm hyped.
So we'll knock out the podcast, and then you can go and get a drink or listen to some music or do whatever you need to do. But for the
Hit a
audience, I
rooftop.
know for the audience, we talked in the past about Marsha and Mallory's upcoming trip to Europe. So they did go for a couple of weeks, and Marsha just got back within the week of recording this. So Marsha, just a quick refresher in a nutshell, what did you guys end up doing over there?
So the whole reason we went is a friend of ours is the head coach for a professional football team, or an American football team, not soccer, but in Prague. And so we went to support him. He used to be offensive coordinator at Michigan State for 13 years. And that's our local college. So we got to know him. Owen is a Spartan. I'm a Hoosier. That could be another episode. But anyway, we went out there. So then because we were going to Prague, we decided to tack on what's a nearby train ride. So we spent time in Vienna as well. And then we headed over to Prague to the game. I will say, Owen, the football game was awesome. It was so sad. They lost in overtime. I think almost double overtime, at least overtime. And if they would have won, they would have went to the playoffs. So Prague Lions, I was behind you. I literally still haven't been able to talk since the game. I was yelling so much. And I don't know if anyone on this who's listening out there has been to European like football games, whether it's you're watching soccer or football. Those crowds don't stop the entire game, hands down, horns blowing, chanting. Honestly, I loved all of it. It was even on defense. Obviously you're louder on defense because you can be, but Owen, you were always such a energy motivator guy when you would watch sports or be involved, but you'd have loved it for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like that was a really good. It's funny that you went to Europe to kick off the American football season, but you did, and that sounds like an awesome experience. And I've got to give a special shout out to Okemos football. I've got my Okemos shirt on today, so
See it.
shout out to Coach Fa and the team. It's gonna be a great season. But that's awesome, Marsha. So aside from the football game, did you do like a lot of like walking and shopping and sightseeing, or I guess how would you describe it? Were you hiking, or what all did you do?
That's a really good question. We did a lot of walking. Like I did anywhere from 18 to 20,000 steps a day, which actually really drives to the conversation we're going to have today about footwear and how critical it can be as you approach the age I am or not. Mallory, who's 25, was with me, so we can talk about how it is for a 20-year-old versus 50-year-old when it comes to shoes. But the proper form was awesome because I did pack the right shoes. I was very thankful about that. But yes, we did 15 to 20,000 steps a day. We went to out to Austria, where they filmed Sound of Music and did that whole tour, which was fun. We did a winery trail tour hike, and there's all these different wineries outside of Vienna. So we just try to stay active and just take advantage of the weather being amazing and just going and exploring every day and just taking in the whole city. So, Prague was a little more fun because we met family and friends there. So that was a little more hyped, a little more rooftops.
City vibe. It's a great city.
Prague? I know you had your honeymoon there.
No, not my honeymoon, but I've been there.
Okay, not your honeymoon. Okay. Well, when beer is cheaper than water, and by the way, Owen, you told me that, but they changed the law. You always have to have one other product cheaper on your menu than the beer.
Boo. That's funny.
Is that funny? It's a new ruling I learned when I was over there. I'm like, wait, why is this item cheaper than beer? It's not supposed to be. And they said it has to be now. So, yeah, Prague was fun. It was a good time. So,
well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Marsha alluded to our topic today, which really is talking about how your footwear and shoe choice could be quote unquote aging you. So as you get older, you start to say, why does my back hurt, or my feet are killing me, or I can't do this anymore. And a lot of people attribute it to age, but it could be as simple as your footwear choice. And if you were to make a slightly different footwear choice and treat your feet maybe a little bit differently, so to speak, and obviously I'll get into that more, that you probably won't, or we'd be willing to wager, that you probably won't have some of those same problems. But the reality is, as you do start to age, as early as like your mid to late 20s, but really starting in your 30s, you can lose muscle mass naturally, mobility in your joints, and your body truly does start to, wear down. So when we were doing some research and I read that, honestly, that was pretty depressing, because I'm 29 years old, so I'm like, all right, this is the peak. But the caveat to that is, if you make smart footwear choices and take care of your body and move with intention, that you're going to be able to overcome the aging. So again, the topic is more about how, as you age, taking care of your feet is really important, and how some of those aches and pains may not necessarily just be because you're getting older. So example for me, like I said, I am almost 30, about a year away at this point. I start to feel aches and pains in my lower back, or just when I'm standing and whatnot. And a lot of the times it's just when I'm around the house working with my kids or playing with my kids, and I don't have any footwear on, let alone proper supportive footwear. So I start to feel that. And then I know Marsha just talked about how, for example, on her trip, she made sure she had the proper footwear, and it ended up making a big difference. But Marsha, what would you say about, I guess, not to out you, but you are, I guess, my mom, so you're obviously older than me. So I guess that I can at least say that. We won't get into details, but what would you say just about, how your body starts reacting differently as you get older, and aging in general, or even just the shoe aspect of it?
Yeah, so I was in the corporate world. So in the corporate world, you didn't wear tennis shoes, you didn't wear construction boots, you didn't wear a hiking boot, basically anything that would be comfortable and make sense for your foot. So I always had to wear dress shoes, and so did all the men I worked with. I worked in a male-dominated industry where they had to wear those, like, the dress shoes at the time were pointed, and
Yep.
we had to wear heels just to wear, because I had to wear suits all the time, and you had to be very presentable, and it was very looked down upon because we were a European country, so you had to, bring it when you came to meetings and things. But over time, because all our toes are squished, I have massive bunion on my right foot, and I kick myself because I know from 30 years of wearing dress shoes, pushing it together, and how much pain. We'd all get out of those meetings, and like literally at happy hour, wherever we were meeting up for dinner, under the table, everybody's shoes were kicked off because we couldn't stand the throbbing anymore. You look around and we're all laughing because literally there's shoes under these. We're at a nice steak dinner and everyone has their shoes off, hidden under the table, giving their feet a break. But that's kind of the thing I regret, not paying attention to that or understanding it. Not that your dad didn't warn me. My husband's in the shoe business. He warned me, but I just always felt like I had to wear what I had to wear. So that's kind of where I'm at now and now I'm dealing with it, dealing with all that situation, and between the bunion and my toes turning in, which is a real thing, it hurts. It's a process right now of correcting it.
And it's funny you say that, because I was actually just in a wedding this past weekend, and we're finishing up taking pictures. So this is after the ceremony. We've all been on our feet for like probably a couple hours at this point, and every single groomsman is sitting there with the tuxedo dress shoes, like, oh my gosh, my feet are killing me. Like, they're just like, it feels like someone's stabbing my foot with a knife right now. Like, this is insane. And my feet really were a lot better because I actually put in the orange sport insoles into my dress shoes, and they ended up fitting good in them. And even then, I'm not going to lie, like, those shoes were so thin that my foot was aching a little bit by the end of everything, but nothing like what they were explaining. So I didn't even think about that, but I think the point of all of that, and dress shoes are an easy one, is your footwear does matter, and that's maybe one that you have to do sometimes, but it's important to kind of make choices with it. So
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because kind of the next thought would be, your shoes are talking, right? What are they saying to you? Like, obviously, that was pain, but just as a quick high level, uh, you really do have to listen to your feet depending on what pair of shoes you're putting into, right? So if your feet are achy by mid-afternoon, especially the midsole, you're going to there's a concern there. What's the right shoe? You shift your weight constantly when you're standing. So is your shoe catching that? And that's why we talk about our deep heel cup, is because it's going to catch you when you're rocking, moving. It's catching your heel and locking you in for alignment. Another one is your knees or lower back, like hurt after walking or standing. Like that's telling you that you should be able to walk or stand 6 to 8 hours without hurting. And if you start feeling that after that point, then you need to look at your footwear and adjust things. And I bring that up considering you're probably used to standing every day for your job, but if you're not, then all of a sudden you're standing 6 to 8 hours. That could be a little difference, but and then posture, right? Even when you're not wearing heels or whatever, it's just all about your posture. And then the last thing I would say is to just, what are your shoes saying? Just long distances with not the right shoes will bring that discomfort. So something to think about. Like for me, when we walk 20,000 steps, I don't do that in my everyday world, but I had to leap to it to keep up with Mallory, who is my agenda writer. But because I wore tennis shoes, a good insole in the shoe in Vienna, but when we got to Prague, it was all cobblestones, and that was too much turning on my ankle for tennis shoes. So I actually wore Birkenstocks the whole time. And the Birkenstock shoe bed is made very similar to orange insoles, so it really worked on my foot. Because I wanted an open shoe because it was so hot in Prague. It was like 92 degrees. So I wanted to vent out my foot. So I switched to a Birkenstock, and what a difference that made. So these are just all signs you got to listen to your body. Owen, is there anything like you can think of that I might have missed?
No, I mean, it really resonated with me when you're talking about, you kind of shift your weight and whatnot. Like every time I'm shifting my weight on my feet, it feels like it's because I'm not really wearing great footwear. Like that's the main reason, or I'm not wearing any, like around the house or whatever. So that really resonated with me. And then, yeah, when you're talking about like not necessarily want to walk somewhere, if you're having a day, we'll say, and someone mentions, hey, like let's walk up over here, or your spouse is like, hey, let's go do this, and you're worried about your footwear and hey, I don't know if I can handle that. That's obviously a pretty big problem, and you want to be able to enjoy yourself, and there are some easy ways to be able to do that, without the pain and discomfort. So before we get too much into what will actually help the pain and discomfort, cough, better shoes, cough, insoles. Before we get into that, just kind of a little more explanation about what's happening with the foundation of your body. So your feet are just that, the foundation of your body. And oftentimes, especially when you're standing or you're walking for an extended period of time, your arches and the muscles in your feet will get tired, and that causes them to kind of flatten or bottom out, or what we would call overpronation. So we've talked about that before in that concept, and it could be something that someone right out of the box is a quote-unquote overpronator. So step one, they're going to be rolling in on their arches, and that might be why you feel some discomfort sooner. And then others may not have that, but again, their muscles start to get tired, and they start to feel the rolling in later. But it's a varying degree, and it's inevitable that if you're on your feet for a while, you're going to experience some sort of, flattening of the arches or unnecessary movement. And of course, that, what we'll call uneven foundation when you're rolling in on your feet and not sturdy is going to also impact the rest of your body too. So your knees, your hips, your lower back. People will say, of course, their Achilles. If you're putting excessive strain on your plantar fascia or the main muscle in your foot, then that's going to start pulling on your Achilles and your calf muscles. So your whole body's connected, and if you have these, what we'll say is inefficient movements with your foot at the bottom, it can really start to stack up. So that's kind of the bottom line. And we've talked in the past in different episodes about how you can go and get fitted for footwear and whatnot, but also insoles are a great option too. And it's funny because I talk to my friends sometimes, like for example at the wedding, I'm like, hey, I have my insoles in. You guys should have had some. Kind of like a wink, wink, like, next time come prepared. Or actually at my wedding, I gave them out to the groomsmen, for example. But everyone's like, oh, I didn't even think of that. I think that would be a really good idea. I just really never even thought about that. And I hear that all the time with my peers and kind of younger folks. So I guess with that said, Marsha, it's not necessarily just about, oh, this person's older, now they need more support. There's a little more to it than just that.
Yeah, and I would say, knowing your wedding party over the weekend, Christian and Charlie were in the wedding, and talk about dedicated orange insole users since the beginning. Christian back in college used to wait tables and bartend, and he lived in our insoles to get him through those long
And they
shifts.
still didn't have them. I'm like, come on, knucklehead, you should
He
know
always
this.
promotes them. And then Charlie is a firefighter who lives in his insoles, and always is constantly referring other firefighters to get the insole. So
And they're both in their 20s.
yeah. I'm actually shocked that those two didn't come, showing me their shoe during the wedding. So, but yeah, I will say though, you mentioned it early on is like your foot is great. Like things start breaking down after your 20s. So, when it comes to, our insoles, only for old people or older people, I would say, yeah, because we feel the red flag faster, right? Our bodies have been broken down and our bodies are telling us a lot quicker, hey, we've got some pain here, some buildup, some breakdown. But to be proactive instead of reactive like I am, I think that's where the younger generation, we all need it no matter what you're doing. Your body's getting beat on daily, no matter what age group you are, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. So I think that it's just, for us, it's a faster red flag. But I would say to be preventative for wellness and keeping your feet aligned and staying ahead of it, I would say for your generation, to take a look at it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And like for me, I'm talking about playing with my kids, and I have some of that back pain and whatnot. And I'm lucky where I have the information to now when I'm going to like mow the yard or go work out or do whatever else, I have the information to put insoles in and basically give my feet a little more support and a little bit of a break during those activities. But you may not think of that, and if you don't give your feet a break and you're doing all this stuff, it can really add up over time. So maybe that little back pain turns into something pretty severe, as time goes on. Exactly what you're saying, where just getting ahead of it is a good idea.
Yeah, and I think just listen. I wasn't doing it at your age. I wasn't listening. I was feeling strong and keeping active, and I think I got lucky that we owned a shoe store at your age, or not in your age, but in that time frame, your dad was involved. So I think naturally I was protected because I was constantly trying different shoes that your dad would bring home for me to try, and so I got kind of lucky. But the profession I was in was unlucky when it came to wearing dress shoes all the time. But I bring that up, but just, especially if you're in your 30s or 40s, you're going to start feeling some signs coming up. So just start listening to your body and being aware, like Owen was describing earlier, like alignment is so critical. Having that deep cup, good shoe under your foot, the foundation, it just can be really critical down the road.
So to kind of put it into terms, here are some action items that you can take to make sure that your shoes aren't the ones aging you, that you're taking care of your body. Number one is ditch the flats and flip-flops. Like Marsha was saying, she had to wear them for work and whatnot, and there are those situations. But if possible, try to move more towards just a well-fitting, open shoe. Like your Birkenstock, for example, I know it has a really wide footbed. It just gives your foot room to breathe realistically. Also, generally choosing shoes with structure, or if they don't have structure, be aware that maybe they're not going to be something that is good to wear all day or for a long time. So generally shoes that are a little bit firmer, that you can't just take and do like a 360 bend and wring it out like a sponge. If you can do that even a little bit, that's probably not a great sign, but just those firmer shoes, like a well constructed like boot or even running shoe, there are many of those out there. Again, when you're going to be on your feet for a while or doing a rather intense activity. The other thing is to rotate your footwear, so don't always get stuck wearing the same pair of shoes. First off, they're going to break down a little bit quicker because the foam actually isn't given time to decompress. So when you're standing on them, you're compressing the foam, and then when you're not standing on them, it starts to decompress. But if you get on them, over and over again, and first thing in the morning after taking them off at night, you're not giving them the break they need. But also, it's good for your feet as well, just to kind of experience different fits and work different muscles in your feet, and not always get stuck wearing the same pair. And then finally, just using insoles. We've alluded to this, but getting that extra arch support underneath your foot, a little bit of extra cushioning and heel support as well, can really go a long way in your daily activities. So the good news for you is you can go right over to our website, and we have what we call like our insole finder. And it's going to ask you a few questions really about your activities and what shoes you're going to be wearing. And the idea is that Orange Insoles has a solution for most any shoe. At this point, I don't know that you could really tell me a shoe that I'd say, no, like we don't really have anything that would work on it. I'd challenge you to do that, but really there are so many options. Well, a few options that are very versatile on our website that can cover just about everybody. So those would be my tips.
All right. Well, I would say, just kind of as a closing out thought, a couple things. One thing I appreciate in the industry is like Birkenstocks. I thought back probably 15 years, 20 years ago, I rarely would wear them because they were not cute at all. And now the whole Birkenstock line is so cute. Ladies, they have these big gold, what do I want to call it? The buckle. Yep. They've got different leathers. I mean, they are so cute. I can't stand it. So I bring that up because even tennis shoes now are like, sneakers are so cute and trendy, and get really cute ones, but it's just giving you so much more support. And I think other shoe companies are realizing people want to wear cute things, but after COVID and being kind of out walking and running, I think people kind of caught on, wait a minute, I want to feel good. I don't like wearing high heels, or they didn't have to go to work for a year. So it's like you get out of wearing those shoes, and I don't want to go back into those shoes. So I think these other shoe companies have done a great job about giving you some cute alternatives for whatever occasion you have to go to that might not be a tennis shoe occasion. The last thing I would say, which Owen had a great grandmother, lived to 109. It was my grandmother who lived to 109, and my dad's mom, sorry. She would always say, move it or lose it. So we're not saying, don't get out and move it. We're saying get out there and move it. Just be smart about what you're putting on your feet. And she would always do yoga every day and was so active, rode a stationary bike every day. She would just keep moving because she'd say, if you don't move it, you're going to lose it. And that's kind of the thing with all this, is get the right footwear so you can keep moving it and you feel good about it. Owen, what else did she tell you?
She also told me to drink hot water and to have a serving of alcohol every day.
No, she tell you about saving your money. Owen, listen, Owen's my saver. He's a good saver. But she's big on saving money, telling her depression. She lived through the Great Depression, she had some awesome stories. So, all right.
Well, move it so you don't lose it, and make some smart choices with what you put on your feet. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.